My people, what's good? Even though we're all not good, because we got thrashed and we conceded 4 goals again in preseason, and we have Real Madrid to look forward to in preseason, then Inter in preseason, then Man City in the first game week of the Premier League.
We on the road to 500, yo.
Let's spread the news about Patella FC.
And before we panic and Haaland got a hat-trick, Oscar Bob embarrassed Sanchez at his near post. A lot of painful things happened, yes. A lot of learning curves. Guys, these are lessons. Yes, we were thrashed. Yes, Man City played a team that should concern all of us. Because if we look at Chelsea, a lot of those players are likely to start against Man City on the 18th of August. Nkunku, Sterling didn't start, but he came on. Madueke didn't start, but he came on. So maybe not the whole team, but Enzo, Caicedo, Lavia looking likely, Tosin looking likely, Sanchez looking likely to be our first choice, and then Colwill, very likely, Reece James, very likely, Malo Gusto. But we'll get into the lineup and analyze who was who and maybe try to identify some mistakes and what we learned from this dismal, because when you concede in the first 5 minutes, and not one, but two, when you're 2-0 down in less than 10 minutes, it's a long game, especially when you give the striker that you're trying to defend that much confidence. So Haaland has a brace and he has to just go through the game looking for a hat-trick from the 10th to who knows when minute. He just has all this confidence in him now. And yes, it's preseason, but the key points, we need to get hot quickly. I don't know how else to say it. We need to build tempo and find ourselves in the game very quickly. In preseason, we've been starting a lot of games fast. It's fast tempo. It's not precise, but it's fast tempo. It's high energy. We start the game well. For the first time, we were unable to start the game hot and get the first attack. City did that, and City got a penalty after a few minutes. The pressure that was put on us, it was telling. So there's just those elements of the game. Do we rather start games and try to pass the ball a bit just to get a rhythm instead of going high intensity and just attacking? Because it seems when we don't have the ball and we are attacked, we're very vulnerable. And we have young defenders. Tosin a bit more senior, but Levi Colwill has a mistake in him. Reece James definitely has a mistake in him, guys. He's even missing the first 4 games of the Premier League. So we only consider Reece for game week 5 of next season. Midfield. Moises Caicedo, as great as he was for Ecuador, he's in a new system alongside Romeo Lavia, and Enzo, who was next to him most of the time last season, is now in front of Caicedo. So Caicedo was likely to have a very tricky game, especially with it being Man City, regardless of the midfield 3. And City started a very interesting midfield 3. There's Nico O'Reilly, if you've heard of Nico O'Reilly, next to James McAtee, and Kova playing the DM role. And they switched up through the game just the way we switched up or tried to get something out of the game. But standout players for us, definitely our wingers in the second half. In terms of the system, it's the same thing. Back 4, back 3, Gusto inverting, Reece in the back 3, defense. But the wingers in the first half, we basically played Kieran Dewsbury Hall as a left winger. As much as he's good in Maresca's system, I think that was tricky, especially against Man City. So as soon as Sterling and Madueke come on, we look like a whole different dynamic. Beautiful volleyed goal from Sterling. Good goal from Madueke as well. Good composure against Scott Carson, who is still a Man City player. Miracles. I don't know how. It's just there for vibes, honestly. Just vibes. But I would still say that the concern is that Man City, only maybe Haaland and Ortega and Gvardiol will definitely or are more likely to start against us in game week 1 of the Premier League versus the number of Chelsea players that are likely to be in Maresca's team. That's the concern with this game. But we have Real Madrid to be concerned about. Christopher Nkunku looking good regardless, but having to drop very deep just to try and get into the game, which is very concerning. You know, when Mark Gui was on the pitch, Christopher Nkunku just has a better game. He looks better. He looks more confident. His brilliance is able to come out. It's almost like the 1-2s between Nkunku and the striker are good, which means Nkunku should not be played as a 9. We are underutilizing Nkunku by playing him as a 9. So, hey, that's just what I see, right? The coaching staff in Enzo Maresca know better than us. And let's see what we try in the next game. Let's see what happens when Cole Palmer and Nicholas Jackson come back. Very key players now at this point. I'm starting to see just how key Nicholas Jackson in particular could be for Enzo Maresca. And yeah, we take another 4, but at least we scored 2 this time, unlike the Celtic game. Let's get it, y'all.